Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment. Welcome to Rooms with Ronald, the Micro Living Edition. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In today's Micro Living Edition, we're going to talk about the word no and how we handle that in leasing. And we're going to do it in 10 minutes or less. So let's jump in. Why I think this is relevant today is because I recently got told no or passed over for something that I really wanted. Like, I felt it in my soul. I would have been perfect for it. And all the signs were telling me I was going to get it, but I didn't. And so I was like, this is what happens in leasing, right? So how do you handle no? Because that's only half of the equation, right? The no part is half of the equation. And to me, no isn't never, not now. It's just not at this moment, right? I can't move in with you at this moment because of X, Y, Z or this. What you do beyond that point is more valuable than any survey that you will get, any feedback that you get while you're on the tour. So I want you to think about this no as a time of reflection. So when I'm on site and I'm touring, I think, oh my gosh, they're going to lease here. It's going to be so great. I do everything right? I ask them to apply in the office. I send follow-ups that are personalized and tailored to them. I do all the things that I should be doing. And then I pick up the phone a couple days later, or I get the email and I get told, hey, Ronald, thanks so much for your time. Unfortunately, we decided not to pick your place to move in. We are going to ABC Community. And the devastation sits in, right? Because I was already spending that commission check. But the next steps are so important. I always come back with them and I'm like, I'm so glad that you found a home that met your needs. I'm very disappointed that it's not us. But I'm excited for you because you're going to be happy where you are. But I don't want you to forget about me. I'm still going to be here. So if a year and you're ready to move again, something didn't work out, I'm still going to be here. But let me ask you this. Can you explain to me why you chose that community? Did they have something I didn't? Was there a better rate? Whatever the reason is, right? Because I want you to be able to take these no's and figure out where they went and why they went there. Because that's so important. Oftentimes we spend so much time thinking about our comp sets because they're a half of a mile away, they're across the street, it's the same product, it's the same design or whatever it is, that we've envisioned this perfect little comp set, right? Most of the time though, we may not be losing people to them. And if we're not losing a majority of our traffic to them, should we be comparing ourselves to them? So asking that question allows you. And what it does is it allows you if you've done something that you may not know you've done. For example, I was on a tour in Columbia, South Carolina years ago. And I was over going through the whole process. You know, I'm like, and it's this, and we get to there. She's giving me all the signs she's going to buy. She's going to sign the lease. We leave. She's like, oh my God, this is perfect. It's everything I wanted. You know, I do have to keep my other appointments go because that's just who I am. I'm like, not a problem. I encourage you to keep that. I said, I'll look for your application tonight. I'll call you tomorrow if I don't see it. So I set that expectation. And I said, you know, I called her and I said, hey, didn't see your application come through. What's going on? Where's the hiccup? She's like, oh my gosh, Ronald, you know, I do really appreciate everything you've done for me and the tour you gave me. I've just decided to go lease somewhere else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not a problem. I totally understand that. I want you to be happy. Do you mind sharing with me what the decision factor was, why you decided to lease at that community and not with me. And she said, well, I don't know how to say this to you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not going to hurt my feelings. This is how I get better. She said, well, you were on the tour and you kind of offended me. And like the moment of panic in my voice, like I was like, I'm so sorry that I offended you. What did I do to offend you? And she said, well, when we were touring, we were in the primary bedroom and you called it the master bedroom. And, I am a gal from the South of a minority, and that just really kind of offended me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. That was never my intent. That's what we were trained to do. That's how that's what we've called it for years. But I totally understand where you're coming from. And I appreciate the feedback that you've given me, and you've allowed me to see that I offended you, like using terminology that I never thought about. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I have never called it the master bedroom again, because I took that no as an opportunity to learn what I can do better. And when you ask questions and you build a connection with people, they're going to give you the reason. They might come and say, well, Ronald, the price was really a lot higher than we could afford, or, I really needed this, or it could be something silly or anything, right? So it's taking these moments and allowing you to learn, right? I had one that said they didn't lease with our property because the person driving the golf cart drove too fast. What? Like, so the person was driving too fast. So like, guess what? We kind of said slow and steady, right? I took that no as a learning opportunity. And I had to remind myself of this very recently as well. Like, right? I got a no on something, like I said, I wanted, but I had to reflect, and I asked for feedback, what I could do better. And come to find out, it was nothing to do with me. It was about the process and what they were going to do differently. And they decided to kind of shift gears a little bit. So that made me feel better, right? I didn't have to question what I did. So every time you hear a no, your mind should be, why did I get the no? And let them know, like, you're not here to persuade them. You're just here to make sure that everyone after them has a better experience, and that they can help shape the experience for other people by providing you honest feedback about why they chose. So remember, when you hear no, take the steps to figure out why you got the no and how you can use that information to improve. You have been listening to Rooms with Ronald, a podcast brought by the Multifamily Media Network. This has been the Micro Living edition on what to do when you get no. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. And until next time, guys, happy leasing. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, call pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.